First of all, I'd like to thank the organization for the invitation and for the opportunity I get to present here the results of a survey that we did, the survey of Voice for Vocal Training. I'm also very happy that Abigail and Lubos Zatko accepted our invitation to present 2 good practices on vocal training during this session. The project of Voice for Vocal Training is one of the 14 projects of the Voice project that was realized by the European Choral Association. We started this project in 2013 and we will finish this project in 2015. The Flemish Organization for Choral Music, for Vocal Music, Koor and Stem, coordinated the project Voice for Vocal Training. Koor and Stem is a national organization for choir music. We support the choir life in Belgium, but we do also a lot of work on music education and on projects around inclusion. For the realization of this project, we could count on the support of national and international experts in music education, and the knowledge of them and the experience of them was very useful for the development of our project, Voice for Vocal Training. The mission of our project was, how can the choral world and the world of education inspire more schools in Europe to become singing schools? And if we raise this question, we always get 2 remarks. The first remark is the choral world contributes already a lot to this mission with their work for children choirs. And this is really true. Choral singing is an informal form of music education with a major impact on education and especially on vocal education for children. But not all children choirs are linked to a school. In our project, we mainly focused on singing with children in schools in different settings. Singing with children in a choir is only one aspect of singing with children. Another remark we get when we pose this mission is in a lot of European countries, singing in schools is not an issue at all. Especially in the Eastern and Central Europe, there is still a strong tradition of singing in schools and in school choirs. This mission is therefore perhaps a typical Western European question, but probably this can be an item for discussion during this session. I go to the results of our survey. One of the results of our survey was a list of 113 initiatives on singing with children. The respondents came from 19 different countries. If we look to the background of the respondents, we see that most of them are related to cultural organizations, opera houses, orchestras, concert organizers, cultural center, and so on. On the second place, we find a lot of music schools, and university who develops new initiatives on singing with children. And rarely, the choral world is not so involved in initiatives on singing with children in schools, apart from the children's choir, which I already mentioned. We find the choral world only at the 3rd place in the list of organizers. If we look more closely to those 113 initiatives, we see that they have a lot of common features, but at the same time, a lot of different approaches. If we look to the common features, we see that they all want to motivate teachers and children. They all hope to share experience and knowledge. They all want to start from the point that singing does not stand on its own, but must be based on a broad cultural concept. And they all try to get public support on singing, and especially on singing with children. But as I said, they have all different approaches. Most of the projects focus on the teacher and their search for new song material and instructional methods. Just a small number of initiatives try to reach students in training colleges. Probably they don't need special initiatives because they have already a course on singing in their curriculum. Other projects like Sing Up develop new digital tools for vocal education. The concept of singing schools, based on the tradition of schools schools choirs, is a format for a lot of initiatives. And last but not least, the creation of awareness for singing with children is also an important target for most of the initiatives. But we see that in practice that the most projects use a combination of those approaches in reality. Not all the projects that we received have the same quality. So we wanted to make a good selection, and for that selection we used 5 criteria. We were looking for inspiring initiatives of a high quality in the selection of repertoire and in the use of the voice. It was also important that the initiatives had a great power of attraction and focus on a broad musical base. The innovative character of the use of new techniques in repertoire teaching and methods were also breaking criteria. And with those criteria, we came to a selection of 30 good practices on singing with children. We presented these good practices in our report, A Voice for Vocal Training. I have a copy here. If you are interested, you can see it after this session. And on different websites of different organizations. But the best way to learn more about good practices is to have a presentation of people who are directly involved in one of those good practices. We had the presentation of the Cor Vivaldi and the Great Scots Treasure Hunt during the Leo Sings Conference in Barcelona. And we are happy that we can present today 2 other good practices. The first one, Musical Futures, will be presented by Abigail Damore of the United Kingdom, and Lubos Zatko of Slovakia will present the project Supertrida. So I now like to give the floor to Abigail Damore. Thank you.
Good morning. This is a presentation about voice, and I'm actually losing mine, so I'm going to have to stand very close to this microphone and hope that you can hear me. I represent an organisation called Musical Futures, which is based in the UK, but it actually has an international remit. Musical Futures is a philosophy about teaching music that involves looking at where students are already interested. We know that young people have a real interest and passion for music in their own lives, but quite often in the school and in the classroom that isn't translated in the same way. So through Musical Futures, we've looked to develop a series of methods and a series of teaching pedagogies that really harness the passion that we know that so many young people have for music outside of school. We have a series of approaches that all look at the way that musicians learn in the real world. So when a musician teaches themselves music, what are the processes that they go through, and how can we bring those into classroom music making? We're very interested in the classroom because it's where all students are. In the UK, in schools, music is statutory up until the age of 13 to 14. So we focused our efforts on the music classroom, where you have a wide range of students, some of whom are very interested in making music, some of whom really aren't. So we set ourselves quite a tough challenge. Musical Futures is driven by teachers. Everything that we do has been refined and developed by teachers, and we share everything internationally, and it's all available open source. Our work is mainly in providing free professional development and free resources for teachers, and we have a huge online support network to support teachers through the work that they're doing in the classroom. It's operating in around about 1,500 plus secondary schools in the UK, but increasingly we have pockets of activity of musical futures happening overseas, particularly in Australia, Canada, Singapore has just started up a pilot, but it's all driven by people who really sort of believe in this philosophy that student engagement will happen when you really get students involved in something that they have a passion for already. We recently developed a program called Find Your Voice because there's been a real underuse of really good quality vocal work in music classrooms in the UK, and also mobile technology. We're seeing a lot of the use of iPads and mobile phones in schools now, but it's not really being integrated in music making in a really creative and effective way. The reasons for both of these things are mainly down to a lack of teacher confidence. So we wanted to develop a program that really looked at some ideas that we could give to teachers for how they could embed singing, vocal work and technology into their music classrooms, even if it's something that they didn't feel particularly confident with themselves. We were also very aware of this real lack of connection between in and out of school experience. Young people sing all the time outside of school. They beatbox, they rap. It's very much part of their culture. But in school, it was seen as something that only certain children did. It's only something you do if you're in the choir. It's not necessarily cool. So we wanted to try and really bring all of these varied and colourful experiences that we know students have with vocalising outside of school into the classroom. The programme that we developed focuses really around getting students to explore what they can do with their voice. If any of you were in Paul Smith's presentation just now, it's saying that singing doesn't necessarily, it can start with body percussion, with beatboxing. It's getting students to really think about how they can use their voices, getting them singing without necessarily realising that they're singing. But it was really we've really been looking at how you can use singing as a way into other things, how you can use singing as a way into instrumental learning, how you can use singing as a way of getting students confident about themselves, how you can use it as a way to get them working together as a group. We've developed a suite of materials around this that are all open source and they're all free of charge. I'll tell you how you can get hold of those later on. But our main focus with this was really looking at building confidence for teachers and also for students around using their voice. The way that our programme is structured is in 3 sections: exploring, recreating and creating. It starts off by getting students to explore what their voices can do. It starts off with body percussion, with beatboxing, with getting them to establish rhythm, because rhythm is a real issue with students of the particular age that we were working with, which is sort of 11 to 12-year-olds. It's getting them to think of their voices as instruments. So the work that we do involves showing teachers how you can take music that students are interested in, which usually starts with popular music, and how you can get them to break down the music. So how you can get them to vocalise a bass line, how you can get them to vocalise harmonies, how you can get them to vocalise rhythms, and then obviously the melodies on top of that. So it's really showing students how as a group they can put together some really great vocal performances without necessarily realising that they're doing it. We start off by doing something called a vocal 4-chord mashup, which I'll show you a video of in a moment, which basically there are 4 really simple chords that underpin the majority of popular music, and we get students to learn to vocalise those chords and to then sing various elements over the top of it, so that they're working with music that they're familiar with, but they're breaking it down and they're pulling it apart and then they're putting it back together again. There's a lot of body percussion, a lot of beatboxing, and we've done some work with some of the UK's top beatboxers to really put together some ideas for how students, particularly boys, can use their voices for rhythmic work. Throughout all of this, we integrate mobile technology. So students have their phones out in the classroom all the time, and we quite often have to get special permissions for this to happen in schools. But students use various free music apps on their their phones and on their iPads to be able to record their voices, to be able to manipulate them, to play them back, to use them as backing tracks. So as well as using their voices, they're recording, they're sampling, they're sequencing them, and they're really using these sort of powerful tools that the majority of young people now have, mobile phones. I think it's something like 86% of UK teenagers own a smartphone now. How we can really bring that into this programme. Students then move on to recreate music, so they take a piece of music that they really like, whatever that may be, and they try and break it down vocally. They try and use a cappella techniques to put together their own performance of a piece of music that they love, and again using mobile technology throughout all of this to support the work that they're doing. And then they move into a compositional phase, so they use their voices to compose, they use mobile technology to manipulate what they're doing vocally, and to take it on to new levels. The final part of what we do is asking teachers to share good practice. This is something that's really critical for us because we find that teachers learn best from other teachers. Our role is to support a network, but ultimately teachers sharing their own practice with other teachers is what spreads and is what sticks. So throughout this whole process of Find Your Voice, we have this sort of very vibrant online community who do something in the classroom, they share it with somebody else online, and then other people take that and use that in their classroom. So we've built up a kind of a big community around this. I just want to show you a short video of the very first part of this, which is around the initial stages of getting students to explore their voices. The video you're going to see is of a group of students 2 weeks into the process. They're aged 11 and 12, and the majority of them before this video said that they wouldn't be interested in singing. So we've tracked the process, and it's just a short video just to show you how this happens.
Phones is that we are only using phones when Mrs. Gower says we can use them. So if you're not using your phone at any time, you're going to put it on your knee and you're going to turn it upside down so that I can see that nobody's fiddling with their phones instead of listening to me. So have your phones on your knee upside down, or you can just pop it on the floor. If in a minute we're going to do some clapping, I'm going to need to move around. In a second, I'm going to ask you to get your phones ready, but not until we've practiced it a little bit. Have you? Dum 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 dum. Okay, so that's going to be fine, isn't it? Ready, beatboxers? 1, 2, 3, 4. Dum 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 dum. Keep it going. Dum dum. Chang chang chang. Let's hear you. Chang chang chang. Chang chang chang. Chang chang chang. Are you ready? Chang chang chang. Chang papa. 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 Okay, beautiful. So everyone pick up your phone and set it to voice recorder, please. Don't press record yet. Okay, what I'd like you to do is to switch your voice recorders on, silently pop them in the middle and come back to your place. Into the middle, press record now. Everyone just died.
Okay, so let's see if we can do all three of those songs together with our backing track and see how it sounds. Jamie, off you go. It's the beginning, it's really difficult, so please, because I've only got 3 to count for you, 4 to count for you, 5 to count for you. Are we listening? But your job now is to come up with your own version, your own mashup of songs that fit over the top, and you can be as creative with that as you want to. So you can use one line of a song, you can do the whole song, you can try and put 3 or 4 songs on top of each other, and if you want to, you can turn the backing track off and you can try and see if you can sing all the parts and a melody line over the top.
What song? What song should we sing over?
I've got the song.
What song should we sing over?
I've got the song.
Should we sing?
We need one of those speaker things. So, yeah. Hate to turn up, but the boy, I couldn't stay away. I couldn't find it out. Never mind, I'll try. Come on, I do. I wish that. Yeah, it went out of time.
Money, just wanna make the world dance. Forget about the price tag. Ain't about the, ching, ain't about the, yeah. Bling, wanna make the world dance. Walk by Diamond Style. Waka waka, Tanya, Sangria, is for Africa.
So what we were really trying to do with that was put together a project. It tends to take 6 weeks in schools where students are learning to, first of all, sort of, about how music is structured and how it's textured so that they can put together, their own piece, but also how they can bring in their own musical passions. So you saw them all, working with songs that they liked. This is just the start of a process. Obviously, it develops off into that. It develops off into all sorts of different forms of music. It's not just about popular music, but the idea really is about student engagement from the outset with music and with singing. Hopefully, you can see all those students were pretty much engaged in the task, and we had a lot of boys singing, which is a real problem in UK secondary schools. The way that we have got that particular teacher to be confident to do that, because she really wasn't before, is we run a national training programme. So we've just finished training 300 teachers across the UK in a free training programme, giving them lots of confidence and experience with vocal work so that they can go and work with that in the classroom. Something that has grown out of this, as I said before, is this idea of teachers sharing practice with each other. We have online what we call a sharing wall, and this is a really great free tool for anybody who wants to do any sort of international sharing. It's called Padlet. It's free of charge, and all that you have to do is right-click and you can upload a video, a document, some audio. And we asked teachers, when they tried this in their classrooms, to post on the wall and just show us what they were doing. And this is probably about a 20th of the wall. It's this huge online space that really shows the diversity of how people have taken these ideas that we put together with how you get vocalising into the classroom. And they've uploaded lots and lots of examples of how it is actually working in their classroom. It's not all perfect, but it's really about teachers saying, look, this is how I do it. This is what's happening. What do people think? Can anybody feed back? Can anybody got any suggestions? Here's something I used that worked. Through this, it's generated a real online community of teachers who are really committed to trying to get good vocal work into classrooms and working with each other, and because of the amazing power of the internet, it doesn't matter if you're a teacher in the UK or in Hungary or in Australia, you can make use of this community. From this, we started to see some really nice examples of how the statutory classroom work was actually having an impact on extracurricular work. We started to get a lot of feedback from teachers saying that students were singing in the corridors, they were singing in break, they were asking to come back to the music department at lunchtime to practice, and it had a real knock-on effect of the number of students wanting to be involved in the school's choirs. That obviously poses quite an interesting problem for teachers, because they go from having a fairly small focused choir to having this sort of huge army of students wanting to be involved, so they have to sort of change their repertoire, rethink what they're going to do. But we also saw lots of informal groups of students cropping up, so students doing this in the classroom and then going and saying, actually, we want to start our own a cappella groups, and I've got one example of that. This is a group of boys in Wales, in a school in Wales, who just decided to get together after school based on the back of what they've been doing in the classroom. I do all of this work in technology, and then this always happens in presentations, that the technology doesn't actually work. That one might not be able to play, but it's on our sharing wall, so... Oh, hang on. Okay. I've dropped offline. But it's, there are lots of examples of that, of how students have gone on to start their own groups after school, which has been a real benefit of this programme and something that we didn't necessarily expect would happen. In terms of the impact, we did an official pilot of this in 20 schools in the UK, but we had a much broader pilot of schools trialling this with us online, of around about 200 schools internationally. So we did a big survey of all of the schools at the end of the pilot, and there was a really clear consensus around student motivation and around engagement with singing in school. But also with students actually making progress. What you saw on the film just then was the beginning of a process, but it's really important, especially in UK schools, that we can show how students progress through their music making. So teachers really agreed that through this process, students were making really good progress with singing, but also with wanting to go off and play instruments, with wanting to translate what they were learning musically onto other areas. 74% of teachers noticing this increase in students wanting to do more with music outside of the classroom. But a really critical thing was this increase in teacher confidence, and that's really come through. What this has given teachers is the knowledge that they can work with singing in the classroom, even if it's not something that they're particularly confident with, and they can get all of their students singing, which again is something that was really important to all of them. All of the teachers who worked with us in the pilot have continued to use the strategies in their classrooms. So we've got a really, that's our sort of most positive indicator that this is something that's working. Just a quote from a teacher about how pupil confidence has really raised in her school, but also the sort of impact that it's had on her as a teacher. And we tend to find that happens with a lot of musical futures work. Teachers are a bit resistant of us at the beginning because it's a very student-led approach. There's a lot of emphasis on putting ideas and independence onto the students and onto their own learning. But actually through doing that, it means that teachers can operate much more as musicians in the classroom, because they can go around and they can work with students on their individual needs. So this particular teacher sort of talks a little bit about how that has an impact on her. Musical Futures is something that's there for anybody. All of our resources are completely free of charge. We have a huge sort of bank of vocal resources, video tutorials, films of training, films from our conferences, showing how teachers have been trained to use the resources. We're not evangelical, we're not preaching a particular method. What we do is we've created a set of ideas, that we want teachers to take and to use in their own way, to innovate with, and then to share with other people how they've done it. We've recently had an app developed, which you won't really necessarily be able to see on here, but we have a whole section on Find Your Voice, which is full of interactive features for how you can use this method in your classroom. There's lots of hints, there's lots of tips. So this is free of charge, available on iPad, iPod, iPhone, and all Android devices. So if you're interested in what we've been doing, do download the app. There's a lot of material in there to read. Something that developed through the Find Your Voice program was this online community on Twitter. Are any of you Twitter users in the room? Oh, one. Well done, Paul. Okay, I'll talk to Paul afterwards about that then. But if you haven't used Twitter yet or social media yet in your teaching, and I know that there are quite often some good reasons not to, but actually as a way of bringing people together and sharing ideas, it's really invaluable. So we have a weekly online chat on Wednesday evenings UK time, 8:30 UK time, where teachers from all over the world post ideas, throw out things, say, I've had a really bad day, can somebody give me some condolence? And someone's described it as the best online staff room for music, and it's just a real place to share ideas, to post off to things that people are doing in the classroom. So if you're not a Twitter user but you'd like to be, do come and talk to me afterwards and I can show you how it works. And that's just about it from me, I think, on the project. Does anybody have any questions? Deathly silence. It's probably a good thing. Well, download the app. It answers all of the questions anyway. But thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Is there? So, I don't have the gift of perfect English as my colleagues, so maybe I will show more pictures and less talk on the project. Project I want to introduce here is the project Supertrieda, in English superclass. I will use the English word superclass. Our first question was, what is the role of music in a life of a child? When two childs meet, first question is, what's your name? And the second question is, what kind of music do you hear too? So there's no child that doesn't like music. We have a massive massage of different show programs, different idols in medias. And I think there's no child that doesn't have a dream to be an idol, to be a singer, to be an actor. But is it possible for everybody to be an idol, to have a role in the show business? And what's the right way? Is the school ready to give this child all the skills he needs, all the skills he wants to have, or she wants to have, of course. So what do we really offer to the child? And the school, where has gone the music? As all over the world, also in Slovakia, we have a curriculum in music. But does the music curriculum fulfill all needs we have in music? Do children really sing, really play? Do they do they really play? Do they really sing? Do they really make music? Therefore, we wanted to create a project where place for everybody would be. I'm sorry for my English. So I will try to go to the pictures. Therefore, we defined superclass. Superclass was defined as a competition for school classes in presentation of a musical drama performance or a video clip on a given theme or on a given topic. We operate a competition not only for music, but also for drama. Why? We really want to give every child an opportunity to perform, an opportunity to create, an opportunity to take part. But not every child has the ability to sing, has the skills, has the talent to sing, to play on an instrument. Some of children are better in, let's say, drama, better speakers. Some of them are better painters. Some of them has maybe a handicap, which is not easy to, or in that case is not easy to integrate such a child. Our competitors are expected to come up with an original music drama performance or video clip that will show their own view of the theme. The winner received the title Superclass. I'm not sure you can read. Is it readable? Can you read this? So I will read it for you maybe. What is or what was behind the idea of Superclass? Superclass for children is actually quite an easy action game. They cooperate to create a common work, a piece of art. For teacher, Superclass is an easy-to-use tool that brings new purpose and motivation into their class or classes. On a different level, Superclass fight against segregation based on the talent. As I mentioned, there is a place for everyone. One of the most important rules is that everyone from the classroom has to take part. So nobody stays behind the door. There is a place for everybody. And the so-called talent is not a criterion. Superclass attempts to support all children and prove that each and every one of them is gifted and has a right to be given a chance to prove this. We are trying to give every child the opportunity to express itself, to try something new, became more empathic work on developing its abilities, gain new experience, and form its own opinions. At the same time, we are offering teachers a chance that makes their lessons more motivating, goal-driven, active, and creative. Here we have some rules. For primary schools, there are kids between 6 and 15. The result of the project is a consistent musical drama performance where, as I said, whole class must be involved. There must be, or there should be, dominance of live music and singing. Playback is allowed only for support. Actually, we prefer half playback. In most cases, we don't allow, or we don't like playback, easy said. Participants are divided into categories by their age, and these performances are 15 minutes long. Video clips are 5. In high schools category, the result is a consistent music drama performance or a video clip, where we need to see at least 2 types of art. That means music, singing, dancing. The maximum length of this performance is 20 minutes. If they decide to make a video clip, the length is 5 minutes. What is the aim of Superclass? We have divided aims into 2 groups. We have practical aims, or artistic aims, because it's actually an artistic project. we want to improve specific skills and experience required by the official curriculum. We are not fighting against the curriculum or creating something which would not be integrated. Our role or our goal was to define a project which would improve the curriculum, which would bring a very practical output from the curriculum. So everything what happened there is defined in a music curriculum in a Slovak school system. We are expanding the skills experience in arts, but also in project works and presentation. As I show on one of the slides, super triada projects or superclass projects or performances are created and written by kids, not by teachers. So they are improving their artistic skills, but also presentation and project works, because they have to learn how to cooperate. They have to actually, I will talk about it, they have to improve different social skills. The second group of aims, as we call it, social aims, are improve the relationships in children communities, prevent bullying and motivate kids to be active and cooperate with the teacher. And again, all the children get a chance to find themselves, their skillfulness, realize that they all have talent, some kind of talent, support and further develop creativity of children, abilities and presentation skills, which is very similar to the former one. Increase the cultural level of children, teach them create and team cooperation, increase the credit of art studies at schools. That also a topic that was talked or mentioned today. We need to increase the credit of music education or the credit of art education by different projects, by activities that are real, that will bring real results, real outputs. What method we use? As one of our experts say, which is an expert in special education or education with or trainer for kids with special needs, the journey can be more important than the destination. So what we are doing in the Super Triada, we play different drama plays, making warm-ups, role-playing. We use rhythm plays or rhythm warm-ups patterns. We sing, we are drumming using Orff instruments or even self-made drumming instruments. That was the artistic activity. And as Superclass is a holistic project which works also with literature, which works also with history, geography. Kids, all schools or classes actually are researching on a given topic. They are making exercises or training their literature and language skills. And of course, again, they are improving their social skills, making different brainstorming discussions, working on group dynamics. Superclass is a school year project. We are starting in October with defining the theme or topic. Classes can apply. We have an online application. Then now in November, we start to workshops. We start to create or organize workshops for teachers and students. In December, we have a deadline. January, we organize a press conference with partners, which has the role to announce the deadline and to collect the last and lost applications. March, February, again, we organize workshops for teachers. April, which is right now, we have different workshops and meetings at schools, in schools. and May, which will be in 1-2 weeks, we are starting to travel around the country, where we will have these competencies, these rounds, regional rounds in theaters. I will go to this topic because I mean it's quite important. In June, we have national international finale in Bratislava, and we're starting the campaign for the next year. And in July, I would say, if we get some grants, we organize summer camps, but it depends on funding. So, what we can hear from folklore to rap, we give the freedom to the kids to choose the style of their performance. So, if they prefer folklore, they can prepare their performance in a folklore style. If they prepare, I don't know what's that, punk maybe, they can even use punk music, punk costumes, or here in the bottom we have some scene from Hawaii. So I mean it's quite important to let them decide what kind of music, what kind of art they want to use, they want to present. An interesting fact is that in Slovakia, in north and in west, there are still quite strong folklore tradition. Most of classes in the north and in the east prepare folklore or traditional performances. In the east, in the south, and in the south, we have rock music, rap, a lot of rap. Our capital city, Bratislava, is in the south of country, near Vienna, near Austria, where they are very modern. They use rock music, they use rap. I mean, we never had a folklore performance. Most of them are for the very first time in the theater. I don't know how does it look in Belgium or in the UK, but it's a fact that a 15 years old guy has never been to the theater, and immediately he is in the theater performing with his class, this super class performance. But he's not in the audience, he's an actor, he's a musician. He's singing, he's dancing, he's showing his skills. So that's a fact, or that's a ritual which is quite important for all kids, not only for the small one. As you can, I hope you can see, these are 15 years old, these are smaller. We have different nationalities. There are Roma kids from the eastern part of the country. So this moment that we are performing only in theaters, these regional rounds are not happening in schools I would say ordinary places. We need to create a special situation. We need to create a special occasion, which is this time in theater. They are preparing their performance in classroom with their teacher, but the presentation is not in the classroom. The presentation is in the theater. So that's a quite other position, quite other affect. We have one of our biggest problems are teachers. Our teachers need to be musicians, actors, regisseurs, choreographers, whatever, and they are not prepared. I don't know how in the other parts of Europe, but they are not educated to be good in drama, to be good in painting, to be good in choreography. There are music teachers. So if we want to have them as a partners for the performances, we have to educate them. So we are preparing different workshops, different trainings, and I can proudly say that these trainings are accredited by, that's not me, that's the Ministry of Education. So, I mean, it's a quite good job, but we needed 5 or 6 years to achieve this. Even you can see me explaining some harmony or something like that at the bottom. Yes. We have a special categories with kids with special needs. As I said, it's the most important moment for us that the kids are working together and everybody is on the stage. Really, everybody has his own role, everybody is on the stage, which is not so easy in a regular classroom. But if you have kids or classes where really kids with special needs, with some kind of disadvantage, it's much more complicated. You can see Roma kids, which are special classes in the east of country. You can see a blind girl performing some dancing. These are, let me say, the young delinquents, which use supertrieda or superclass as a therapeutical tool for integration. All of these classes are taking part in a regional round in a theatre. So they are, in that small moment, integrated into this big bunch of children, where you can see big children, small children, rich children, poor children, from small village to the capital city. All these children are performing in theatres. And on the finale, they are, again, singing, they are playing on instruments, they are speaking, and we don't use any technical equipment. We use only basic lights. We don't use any microphones. We don't use any colored lights, filters. We want to teach them to speak correctly. We want to teach them rhetorics. We want to teach them to move them on the stage. We want to teach them I would say, the very natural skills that a child needs to have. What we do bring to schools, or we hope to, Superclass in schools, we bring benefits for a learning process because kids are simply motivated. They see the final destination, which is the theatre, and they are motivating for the work. So this is the first one. We use also outputs from different subjects. As I said, or as I mentioned, we use research that kids are making in geography, because the topic is, last year was my city, my town, my village, my town. So they went to different places. They asked their parents, grandparents. They've made a lot of research on the history of their towns. So we are using these outputs from, as I said, history, from literature, from geography, and all these are integrated in the performance. We bring also benefits to universities. Music study students or students studying music education are assisting to teacher while preparing superclass. So they go directly to the classroom and try to help with music, try to help with the warm-ups, try to help with the intonation, phrasing, etc. All things that need to be done there. So we have a superclass abroad. Few years ago, we received an input from Slovaks abroad that superclass would be or could be a strong instrument to improving Slovak language. We are using superclass in Slovakia as an instrument for improving artistic and social skills. These Slovaks are using this tool as an instrument for improving language because there's that it's their basic problem to have contact and to work in Slovak language. They also use the advantage of such a project for improving skills in music and drama. Superclass general, we have some classes also in Western Europe. There is not a problem in music, there is a problem bullying. So superclass is used as a prevention against bullying. Of course, they are improving social skills and again artistic skills, but not only in music, let's say again also in drama, also in sports maybe. Facts and figures, we have actually 30,000 school children in Slovakia. We have all counties, that means all over the country are kids in the project. We have this year the 9th year, so we have 9 years of experience, and we are already an official part of the curriculum for music education. As I said, we have classes in Serbia, Hungary, Poland, Romania, Czech Republic. There are states or countries where the Slovak are living. They are using it for improving their mother language. And we have, I would say, solo classes in Denmark, Luxembourg, Switzerland. There's not a super class as a whole project. We have isolated classes which want to try this way. Okay. What we have achieved, we have received an award as a good practice model in Ljubljana in Slovenia from the Managed Music Education Network. I don't know if you know it. That is a network of high school or university music teachers or art teachers. Last year, we have got a social project prize from American Foundation Ashoka. Also last year, we have got an award as a best social school project in the European Union, which was a part of the Changemakers project in Paris. I'm very proud to say that Core and STEM, I hope the pronunciation is correct, has integrated us into their activity or their presentation, and on the national national level, as I mentioned, we are a part of the official curriculum committee in the Ministry of Education, which brings us the advantage to have some influence to bring things in real life. Our partners, our friends in Slovakia, we are cooperating with UNICEF, Slovak Committee for UNICEF, European Commission, Ministry of Education. As a part of official curriculum, Ministry of Education is our official partner, but in fact, they don't provide any support. So, but the biggest support actually is that it is possible to go into schools because it's not easy to get into the official curriculum. We work with actually all universities in Slovakia. Our experts are at the bottom. Some of our experts are university professors, which are teaching music, teaching dramas. So we really coordinate our plans, coordinate our work with this I would say biggest or smartest heads we had we have in the country. What next for our plan? We are asking very often, do we need quantity or do we have quality? I mentioned figures or facts, how many kids are into the project. What is more important, how many kids you have, or how good, how high are their skills? For me personally, is the biggest challenge to raise skills of kids and professional of teachers. So our goal is, or our aim is to raise skills, to bring more quality into teaching music and art music in schools, to define art education as a crossing over topic. It means a topic that integrates all activities that are happening in the school. We need recognition for the art as an important subject in the school system. And I would like to achieve that superclass would be an ordinary part of the study of the program, of the curriculum for university students, for future music teachers. On the other side, we want to create a functional model including financing, which would allow to participate to all schools or all classes in Slovakia, because financing is still a big problem in our country. Okay. We would like to have more Slovaks from abroad. We would like to integrate classes from other countries. And that's actually the last one. With the last sentence from my favorite music, or my favorite song, which was in the end, Thank You for the Music. You know it's of course the song by ABBA. I would like to thank you for your attention. And I have 2 short films which will say more than my confusing speech. And okay. Maybe. Can you read?
Deti nadobudli tie zručnosti na takej úrovni, že na javisku boli hravé, spontánne, ja som ich takto ešte spontánne nevidela. U detí sa zlepšila artikulácia, získali lepšie rytmické cítenie.
Je podstatné, že Superteda zapája všetkých, tých ostatných. Tých, ktorí by sa možno za iných okolností na pódium, do divadiel, na vystúpenie ani nedostali.
Spája do jedného kompaktného celku a triedu, ktorú vlastne tvoria jednotlivci, do jedného kolektívu.
Obohacuje nie len deti, edukačný proces samotný, ale obohacuje aj učiteľa o nové skúsenosti, o nové zručnosti.
Rozvíja aj medzipredmetové vzťahy, čo je veľmi dôležité na škole.
Deti sa začali zaujímať aj o svoje vlastné problémy, začali sa viac počúvať, viac spolu fungujú ako kolektív, vedia, že sú na sebe závislí.
Celé tie nácviky a stretávanie sa a samozrejme aj krík a pláč a smiech a radosť zo života ich natoľko spojilo.
Určite sme sa viac scelili a určite sa máme radšej.
Nekomunikovali sme napríklad ja s jedným spolužiakom, ale už to ide.
Osnovy sú vlastne splnené a naviac projekt Supertrieda tam vloží také prvky, ktoré robia deti s radosťou.
Ak hrajú na hudobných nástrojoch, spievajú, zároveň aj tancujú, tak im určite lepšie pôjde aj matematika, slovenský jazyk a cudzie jazyky.
Rozvíja ľudskosť, ľudské vnímanie, ich rozvoj osobnosti po stránke umeleckej, po stránke prezenčnej.
Každý pedagóg sníva, je to jeho takým tajným snom, aby všetci žiaci pracovali, aby sa všetci zapájali sami, dobrovoľne.
A hlavne aj budúci rok by sme chceli nacvičovať. Len ešte uvidíme, ako uberťáci a tak.
That was 2 years ago, so right now we have this 30,000. I think that could be enough as an information. May I answer some of your questions? Yes. Yes, that's an important question. They are on a voluntary basis. They apply through internet. They have to fulfill the application, but it's up there. It's free. So we are not selecting classes actually.